like to call to order this meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency for the City of Salem for Monday, June 8th, 2026. Will the recorder please call the roll?
Board Member Tigan, absent. Board Member Nishioka.
Here.
Board Member Matthews.
Here.
Board Member Gwynn.
Here.
Board Member Brown.
Present.
Board Member Vang.
Here.
Board Member Nordyke, absent. Board Member Varney.
Here.
Chair Julie Hoy.
Here. All right, will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, Chair Nishioka, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
We do not.
Thank you very much. We do have one person signed up for public comment. Carla Sally Alvarez. Please come forward to the podium, push that button till the green light comes on, and announce your name, your ward, or your address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Carla Sally Alvarez, and I am a native Oregonian. I went to Portland State University, but I spent the last 24 years of my life in Texas and in the Houston area, where I started and launched several community-wide events and really learned a lot about community building. Coming back to here, to Salem specifically, it's been a little bit of a shock to me because this is the seat of governance in the state of Oregon, but I see a real fragmentation in communication. I think that the services and events are here, but nobody knows about them. I realize that part of that is because the Gannett Company has basically gutted the Statesman Journal, leaving that to the Salem Reporter. And so I realize that the city as a whole is working in a challenging situation. But from what I see, I don't think that things can continue to be done the way that they've always been done. I have friends who are owners of the land at the Salem Center, and 2 weeks ago they received a letter that the mall was broke and they couldn't pay the rent. So I'm not an economist or a city planner, but my guess is that if the mall goes under and closes, it's going to be kind of hard to renew the urban center. So I don't have a lot of suggestions for you, but I think that just from what I've seen as a whole, there's a lot of distance in services. So there's a lot of reliance on email or social media. Well, you know what? Email can be hacked, search can be manipulated, and I think that things that are right in front of you, like you have these amazing signs about the history of the city. That's great. Well, how about some signs that are what's going on right now? I walked across the, I'm guessing it was a hoopla conference or something. I don't even know what it was because there were no signs up. I walked across the Capitol Mall on the Cherry Blossom Day. Not that I knew what it was. I just saw all the people there and lines in front of the Capitol building. Nobody even could tell me what it was. I mean, that is a communication problem that with some simple things like signs and, hey, let's just go back to what we did to communicate information before we had social media and the internet. Some of those things still work. So anyway, that's just my input. I think that Salem is a beautiful city. I think it has a lot of resources that could be a destination place, but I think there needs to be some cleaning up of communication lines.
Thank you for your testimony. Moving on to the consent calendar.
I move for approval of the consent calendar. Second.
Motion and a second by Gwynn. Counselor to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The consent calendar for urban renewal consists of the minutes from draft minutes from May 11th, 2026, and the May 18th draft urban renewal work session that we had, and that concludes the consent calendar.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Okay, will the recorder please call the roll?
Board Member Vang.
Aye.
Board Member Nordike, absent. Board Member Varney.
Aye.
Board Member Tigan.
Aye.
Board Member Nishioka.
Aye.
Board Member Matthews.
Aye.
Board Member Gwynn.
Aye.
Board Member Brown.
Aye.
Chair Julie Hoy.
Aye. Thank you very much. Moving on to public hearings. We'll now have a public hearing on the fiscal year 2027 Urban Renewal Agency budget. Call the meeting to order.
The Urban Renewal Agency will now conduct a public hearing to consider the 2027 Urban Renewal Agency budget. The hearing will begin with a staff presentation first, followed by testimony from interested persons. Testimony is limited to 3 minutes per person.
Good evening, board members. My name is Callie Leidenbach, and I'm the budget manager here to present to you this evening for the public hearing on the Urban Renewal Agency proposed budget for fiscal year 2027. So Salem's Urban Renewal Agency is a distinct corporation with the mayor and city council serving as its board of directors and the city manager as executive director. City staff, primarily in the Urban Development Division, support urban renewal programs through an intergovernmental agreement with the city. The purpose of URAs is to spur redevelopment within an area where it might not otherwise occur without public investment. On April 22nd, the Budget Committee reviewed the URA budget. On May 6th, the Budget Committee set the property tax levies and recommended a URA budget of $72.1 million to the URA board for consideration. As required by Oregon budget law, this public hearing is now occurring on the approved budget. A notice of this public hearing was published by the Salem Reporter on May 26th, 2026. The recommendation tonight is to direct staff to return on June 22nd, 2026, with a resolution to adopt the Budget Committee's recommended fiscal year 2027 URA budget. And with that, staff is available for questions after public comment.
We have no one signed up for public comment. Does anyone on council have any questions? I'll close the hearing. Thank you. Councilor Nishioka, could we have a motion?
I move to direct staff to return on June 22nd, 2026 with a resolution to adopt the Budget Committee's approved fiscal year 2027 Urban Renewal Agency budget.
Second.
Motion by Nishioka, second by Matthews. Does anyone have any remarks? Okay, will the recorder please call the roll?
Board Member Nordike, absent. Board Member Varney.
Aye.
Board Member Tigan.
Aye.
Board Member Nishioka.
Aye.
Board Member Matthews.
Aye.
Board Member Gwynn.
Aye.
Board Member Brown.
Aye.
Board Member Vang.
Aye.
Chair Julie Hoy.
Aye. Okay, moving on to special orders of business. Item 5.A. It's a motion of my own to ask staff to look into the, sorry, my notes are. Yeah. For consideration of expanding the Salem Convention Center. And I would simply add to that it's something that's been talked about for a very long time. Mayor Bennett was talking about this back in 2016 in a positive light. It was very successful, and we just haven't revisited it. So I'd like to.
I'll move to second that
Thank
motion.
you. Well, then you know my little my my statement to my motion already. So does anyone have any questions or input? Councillor Nishioka.
Yes, thank you. I'm wondering if either you or staff could maybe remind us all when this came forward, the idea of the extension of the convention center, and that your motion is basically talking about looking at this again. So I don't know if there's anything else that we can add to what this motion is attempting to achieve.
Able to speak to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, for that question. So I think a couple of months ago, during the budget process, we talked about the ambassador program, and then also Councillor Tigan brought forward the motion for the amphitheater, and at that time there were some conversations about the expansion of convention center. So my proposal to this board was to let's kind of have a comprehensive look at the different initiatives that are coming forward to the staff for analysis. And then I think because the funding on the URA side is limited, and for the expansion of the convention center, the last time we did the assessment or the analysis was in 2019. So right now we would like to get the cost estimates of what that is. That allows this body to have that conversation about, with different initiatives going on for downtown, how do we kind of move forward so that you can give us a direction about how to approach these projects. So this motion allows us to kind of do that economic impact analysis, and kind of it's 7 years old. I think it's important that we get the current information.
Did you have a follow-up?
I did. Can we also maybe understand expansion's location in the sense of, again, just trying to figure out what boundaries there might be?
Yeah, Director Rutherford is coming to answer the question.
Good evening. Kristen Rutherford, Director of Community Planning and Development. At the time that the convention center was constructed, there was space which is now currently the sculpture garden that was contemplated for future expansion. And it's in the urban renewal plan as well to fund future expansion.
So thank you, Ms. Rutherford. So the area wouldn't be beyond the street limits of that. So what we're talking about is right there, but just building it out, basically.
Correct. It's on the existing site.
And then, so we're looking at how much this would cost and what it could provide in economic benefits with conventions coming.
So we would be looking at that. It would look at demand. It would look at the cost. And then also, provide information so that as we're prioritizing this project with other projects and the remaining maximum indebtedness, to have the information and data that's needed to make an informed decision.
One last thing, I'm sorry. How long do we anticipate this might take?
So we've already reached out to our consultant of record to see if they would be available. They are, and it would probably be around a 6-month effort.
Thank you, and I'm finished now.
Councillor Matthews.
The cost for this, would that be go through the gain loss fund? Is that what it would be through, or would it be through
that
the
would be an
URA?
option, yeah.
That would be an option.
Mm-hmm. The last time we did it, we paid for it through the gain loss fund.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, then will the recorder, thank you very much, Ms. Rutherford. And will the recorder please call the roll?
Board Member Varney.
Aye.
Board Member Tigan.
Aye.
Board Member Nishioka.
Aye.
Board Member Matthews.
Aye.
Board Member Gwynn.
Aye.
Board Member Brown.
Aye.
Board Member Vang.
Aye.
Chair Julie Hoy.
Aye. Motion passes. We have no information reports, and therefore we are adjourned. Okay, I'd like to call to order this meeting of Salem City Council for Monday, June 8th, 2026. Will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Tigan.
Here.
Councillor Nishioka.
Here.
Councillor Matthews.
Here.
Councillor Gwynn.
Here.
Councillor Brown.
Present.
Councillor Vank.
Here.
Councillor Nordank, absent. Councillor Varney.
Here.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Here. All right. Chair Nishioka, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
We do not.
Okay, we are moving on to council and city manager comment. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share tonight? Go ahead.
I guess I'm a talkative girl tonight. I wanted to say that on Friday, I believe it was Friday, I attended the swearing in of some police officers, and it was a lovely ceremony. They all look very young and very excited. So that was a nice thing to visit. And then earlier today, I visited the Gilbert House with Senator Patterson, and she had not been there, and so we got to see all of the some of the new things, which is the new coffee shop and soda fountain that they have. And they're going to be opening starting, I think it is June, this third week of June for all of their camps. It is such a great asset here in Salem, the Gilbert House, and it was certainly a rainy day, as you all know, but there were several children there enjoying all of the activities, and it was very nice to visit that. So that's it. Thank you.
Councillor Matthews.
I mentioned this last time, but I'll give one more quick promotion for the Morningside Neighborhood Association 50-year anniversary. They have a party on Saturday, June 13th at Morningside Park from 2 to 4. There'll be games. There'll be just a good opportunity to connect with other members of your community. So I encourage anyone to be out there or that can be out there to go.
Anyone else? Anybody online? I can't see Dr. Brown if he has his hand up or not.
No, ma'am. You're all good, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. I will just add one little thing. I had the privilege of marching in the Rose Parade yesterday with Mayor Keith Wilson, and it was just an amazing thing. I'd never been to the parade. I'd certainly never marched in it, and it was a beautiful thing. I think it's been off the books for a while for the mayors to gather like that, but he really wanted that to happen, to show that solidarity in this work, and I couldn't be more grateful. So that's that. And yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to take a couple of minutes to recognize constituent concerns regarding the fiber optic work that has been going on in the community. So the city has received several concerns, and the concerns are just to kind of go back, this is like the company that is performing the installation is Easy Fiber. It's a fiber optic company with a city franchise agreement, and they have been conducting installations, and that resulted in residents' landscaping and yards being disturbed. The concerns we have received primarily relate to notification, communication, and also like restoration timelines and questions about work, whether the work is happening within the public right-of-way or not. And so residents have also expressed concerns about, disturbances to their landscaping. So under the city's franchise agreement and permit requirements, Easy Fiber must notify property owners before construction, verify that work is occurring within the public right-of-way, and restore disturbed areas to the same or better condition. So city staff have been working closely with Easy Fiber to improve communication with the residents and address those concerns promptly. Easy Fiber representatives will attend tomorrow's Northeast Neighbors Association meeting, and city staff will also be present to answer any questions the residents have. We will also continue to hold conversations with the Easy Fiber and make sure that that we are communicating with the constituents about the progress that we are making there. And Salem residents impacted by this matter should reach out to Easy Fiber to address any concerns or questions, including about construction methods, proposed installation locations, and the schedules. So if residents do not receive a prompt response, they should get in contact with our Public Works franchise team. So I just wanted to pass on that information.
Thank you for that. Councillor Gwynn, would you like to ask a question?
How much notice are they supposed to give?
I would like to have Director Martin come in, and I don't have that information with me.
Good evening, Brian Martin, Public Works Director. I don't have that answer for you, Councillor Quinn, but I can look it up and we can get back to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Director Martin. Anyone else? Well, thank you for bringing that up. I have had a few folks reach out to me as well, so it's good information to have for everyone. All right, if there is nothing further, we will move on to proclamations, and we have 3 this evening. The first will be for Make Music Day. I'd like to call forward Karen Green, Danielle Green, Jaime Talavera, Kaylee Bonatakis, Kate Bond, Kyle Gray, Hunter Winnan, Doug Hoffman, and Chris Carmen. Thanks for being here. Come on down, come up on stage. Okay, the mic is on. Thank you so much for coming. Not everybody knows this, but I'm a musician, and I became one when I found my mother's guitar under her bed when I was about 7 years old. So that was quite a while ago. You too? That's awesome. I love that. That's cool. All right. Whereas Make Music Day originated in 1982 in France as the Fête de la Musique, in unique celebration of music where free live performances fill public spaces and bring people together. And whereas over the past 4+ decades, Make Music Day has grown into a global phenomenon, celebrated in more than 2,000 cities, including 145 U.S. cities, across 125 countries, on the summer solstice, June 21st, inviting people of all ages and skill levels, whether amateur or professional, to share their music in streets, parks, plazas, storefronts, gardens, and porches, all free and open to the public. And whereas Make Music Day Salem is a fiscally sponsored nonprofit and volunteer-driven organization, held its inaugural event in 2016. Since then, it has brought together over 1,200 performers, hosted 1,600 performances, and partnered with over 250 venues to provide free music to more than 50,000 attendees. And whereas Make Music Day Salem is preparing to host its 11th annual celebration on Sunday, June 21st, 2026, and encourages performers, host venues, volunteers, sponsors, and donors to support Make Music Day to ensure another successful event. And whereas we honor Mark Green during this year's celebration, recognizing his vision and leadership in introducing Make Music Day to Salem over 11 years ago, which has since become a cherished tradition in our community. Now, therefore, I, Julie Hoy, the mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim June 21st, 2026 as Make Music Day in Salem and encourage all residents to embrace and celebrate music and the sense of community that it creates. Dated this day of June 2026. That's it.
Thank you. Sure. Just a moment. Thank you. Thank you to Mayor, City Council members, and the City of Salem. Just want to say, again, we appreciate this, excuse me, proclamation to Make Music Day Salem. This group and a few others work very hard to put together the event every year, and this is all volunteer. All of us have other jobs, families, going to school full-time, so it's definitely something that is passionate to us, and it is especially meaningful this year with the passing of Mark Green, my husband, Daniel's, father, but he wanted to do this for the city 11 years ago, and so we want to keep it going. We want to keep the music going. So we encourage you to come out on Sunday the 21st. You can walk around downtown. You'll hear music everywhere over at the park and throughout South Salem and other areas of Salem. So thank you very much, and hope to see you all there. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone. Now we'll have the proclamation for Juneteenth, National Independence Day. With Black Joy, Oregon. Julie Ray Joy, please come forward. Sarah Arbuckle, if you're here. It's just you? Oh, okay. I'm glad you're here. Whereas freedoms promised by the Declaration of Independence and later advanced through the Emancipation Proclamation were not immediately extended to all enslaved people of African descent. And whereas on June 19, 1865, Union Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced General Order No. 3, declaring that all slaves were free, bringing long-awaited news that sparked celebrations throughout the state. And whereas Juneteenth, National Independence Day, is recognized as the nation's oldest commemoration of the end of slavery for African Americans and remains a time to honor freedom through gatherings, family reunions, reflection, and community celebrations. And whereas in 1997, the 105th United States Congress adopted Senate Joint Resolution 11 and House Joint Resolution 56 to formally acknowledge Juneteenth Independence Day. And whereas in 2001, the 71st Oregon Legislative Assembly approved Senate Joint Resolution 31, designated June 19th of each year as Juneteenth National Independence Day, and encouraging a statewide observance celebrating freedom, dignity, and equality. And now, therefore, I, Julie Hoy, Mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth National Independence Day, and encourage all residents to learn about the history and significance of Juneteenth and to recognize and celebrate the many contributions African Americans have made to our nation, our state, and our community. Dated this 8th day of June, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for Make Music Day, Salem. I appreciate y'all. When I first got started singing, y'all were the only ones who would have me, so I thank you for that. I just wanted to say, usually I would get up here and say something slick, but I'm not going to do that. I think part of being a good community representative is knowing when to just be encouraging. And I think if you are looking for it, somebody is too. And we all have the opportunity to just go on and create it. So if you need it, do that.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we have the proclamation for Pride Month. Could I please have, one moment, right piece of paper, Matthew Oldfield and Rowan Craig, please come forward. Thanks so much, you guys. Okay. Whereas our nation was founded on the principles of liberty and equity for all, yet many marginalized communities continue to strive for those fundamental rights. And whereas the City of Salem is committed to ensuring that every resident has the opportunity to live free from discrimination, prejudice, and violence. And whereas the LGBTQIA communities within the City of Salem include residents, students, city employees, and business owners who enrich our city through their significant contributions to academic, political, economic, artistic, and social life. And whereas recent rhetoric and actions targeting LGBTQIA+ individuals have created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, threatening progress made toward achieving equality and undermining civil rights. And whereas the City of Salem embraces and celebrates diversity, recognizing that a community enriched by people of all backgrounds is stronger, more vibrant, and more inclusive. And whereas Salem acknowledges and appreciates the many advocacy and support organizations working tirelessly to uplift and empower LGBTQIA+ individuals within our community. And now, therefore, I, Julie Hoy, Mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Pride Month and encourage all residents to reflect on how we can foster mutual respect, understanding, and acceptance while promoting diversity and inclusion throughout our community. Dated this 8th day of June, 2026. Thank you.
Do you want me to do a picture?
Here, let's open
We
this
should
up.
probably open it. That'd be helpful. Yes, thank you so much. So yes, I'm the president of Salem Capital Pride, and this is our vice president here. Well, I feel like I got to bring up at least that we're about to celebrate Pride. That's happening this Saturday. We got our parade and block party with lots of free activities, lots of food vendors. We got entertainment the whole time. But this, more largely than that, is just a reminder that it's easy to feel like none of us do much that is worthwhile, that it has an impact in the community. But if you get to see what I see every day, where we just had our queer prom, and we have a lot of programs where people show up, that you know someone queer, and they might not feel very connected to the community. And it's easy, as someone who's part of that community, to be at home and not feel a part of something. And you show up and you realize there's more of you. That's an important thing. So please just be mindful of that, and try and encourage people to come and to show up and be part.
Wear sunscreen.
Great advice. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. On a very personal note, I want to share this story. My older brother, Scott, was my safe place growing up. He's also one of the most amazing drag queen performers you will ever see. His stage name is Iona Trailer. It's true. He used to perform in Seattle when he lived there. Now he lives in Nevada, where he is winning hearts and bringing joy. Scott and his husband, Greg, have been together for decades. As soon as they were able, they got married. It was by far one of the most beautiful weddings I've ever been to. The chapel was packed. There was more love in that space than I had ever felt in one place. It was beautiful. Their love reminds me of a couple of friends I have here in town, Mike and Eddie. They wanted to be here tonight, but they couldn't. Scott came out in the family when he was 19. Mom would say her only disappointment was that he felt he had to wait so long to tell us. She knew. We all knew. So, real love is just that. It's real. So here's to pride in who you are. Here's to real love, no matter who you are or who you love. Thank you. Okay, we have no presentations. We're moving on to public comment. We have no one signed up for public comment. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Councilor Chair Nishioka.
Thank you, Mayor. I move for the approval of the consent calendar with the pull of 3.3A by Councilor Matthews.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Gwen. Councilor to the motion.
Thank you. The motion consists of, the consent calendar consists of the May 26, 2026 draft City Council minutes, and that is all on the consent calendar.
Perfect. Any questions, anyone? Will the recorder please call the roll?
Councilor Matthews.
Aye.
Councilor Gwen.
Aye.
Councilor Brown.
Aye.
Councilor Vang.
Aye.
Councilor Nordyke absent. Councilor Varney.
Aye.
Councilor Tigan.
Aye.
Councilor Nishioka.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. All right, we are moving on to public hearings. Item 4A, it's a public hearing on the state revenue sharing funds.
The Salem City Council will now conduct a public hearing to receive testimony pertaining to state revenue sharing funds. The hearing will begin with the staff presentation first, followed by testimony from interested persons. Testimony is limited to 3 minutes per person.
Opening the hearing. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Mayor Julie Hoy, City Council. My name is James Wharton-Hess. I'm an analyst in the Budget Office, and I'm here to present the second required public hearing for the city to receive state revenue sharing funds for fiscal year 2027. This was noticed in the Salem Reporter on May 26th, and that first public hearing occurred at the April 29th Budget Committee meeting. So just a reminder, the state of Oregon earns revenue from the sale of distilled spirits, liquor licensing fees, and collects taxes of sales of beer, wine, and cider. 14% of that revenue is distributed to cities based on a formula that factors in property taxes, population, and income. And the amount of that revenue that the city is anticipating to receive in the FY 2027 budget is $1.8 million. That's page 367 of the budget document. And the revenue generated from the program is currently used to offset expenses in the general fund for police patrol services. And as recommended by the Budget Committee, that would continue in the recommended budget. So staff recommends City Council to adopt Resolution 2026-19, which would allow the city to receive these funds from the state on a quarterly basis and continue to participate in the program. And I am available for questions after public comment.
We have no one signed up for public comment. Does anyone have any? Oh, I'll close the public hearing, right? Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comment? Councilor Nishioka.
Thank you. I simply will say that I do support this resolution and to continue to utilize state revenue to offset police patrol costs. I do think that public safety is a high priority for all of us, and this is how we've utilized these funds in the past. With our new REACH team that we have, we might want to consider in the future a potential option of some sharing of the state revenue with our other public services. And that's just a thought in the sense of as we move into budgets next year and see. I know that this fund has decreased the amount. I remember a couple years ago, I think I said we all need to go out and buy more alcohol. But at the same time, I recognize that's not necessarily a good plan. But we just definitely need to use the funds as carefully and efficiently as we can. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilor Matthews.
I just want to say I've been doing my part in the alcohol aspect, so if you guys could pick it up, be appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Wharton-Hess. All right, if there's nothing further, I say cheers, and will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Gwynn.
Aye.
Councillor Brown.
Aye.
Councillor Vang.
Aye.
Councillor Nordyke absent. Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Tigan.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. All right, we're moving on to item 4B, public hearing on the fiscal year 2027 City of Salem budget.
Excuse me just a second. I don't think I ever made a motion.
I didn't catch it.
We closed the public hearing and we just went on to discussion and then voted. Thank you for pointing that out.
Good catch.
Yes. I move to adopt resolution number 2026-19, electing to receive a share of certain revenues from the State of Oregon General Fund.
Second.
Carl, could you please read the roll again? Thank you.
Councillor Gwynn.
Still aye.
Councillor Brown.
Still aye.
Councillor Vang.
Aye.
Councillor Nordyke absent. Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Tigan.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Cheers. I mean, aye. All right, thank you. Good, great catch. Thank you, Chair Nishioka. Moving on then to item 4B.
I'll give it to you.
The public hearing on fiscal year 2027 City of Salem budget. Call this hearing to order.
The Salem City Council will now conduct a public hearing to receive testimony on the fiscal year 2027 City of Salem budget. The hearing will begin with a staff presentation first, followed by testimony from interested persons. Testimony is limited to 3 minutes per person.
Good evening again. Callie Leinenbach, Budget Manager in Finance, here to present to you this evening the fiscal year 2027 proposed City of Salem budget for the public hearing. The City of Salem Budget Committee had 4 meetings in April and May to consider the city manager's proposed budget. The committee also met in January to review the 5-year forecasts. At their meeting on May 6th, the committee set the property tax levies and forwarded an approved budget to the City Council for consideration. As required by Oregon budget law, the city is holding this public hearing on the approved budget. The public hearing was noticed in the Salem Reporter on May 26th, 2026. Here's another view of the budget by fund. The largest budget is the general fund, followed by the utility fund, and then the capital improvements fund. The largest year-over-year budget increases also occurred in the utility fund and the general fund. Following the public hearing, City Council can make changes to the recommended budget within the restrictions provided by law, which are property taxes cannot be increased from the rate that the Budget Committee approved, and fund expenditures cannot be increased by more than 10% from the recommended budget from the Budget Committee. The City Council is asked to approve any changes this evening to the budget to allow staff to return on the 22nd with the proper resolutions for the budget adoption. At that time, staff will ask the City Council to amend the budget approval made this evening to include rebudgeted purchase orders or carryover items that were not completed in this fiscal year and we need budget authority for in fiscal year 2027. These changes must also stay within the 10% limit prescribed in budget law, and then a complete list of those carryover items will be available on June 22nd. And staff recommendation this evening is to direct staff to return on June 22nd, 2026, with a resolution to adopt the Budget Committee approved fiscal year 2027 City of Salem budget with amendments. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much, Callie. We do have one person signed up for public comment, Bill Dixon. I'm sure you're familiar with how this works, sir. Thank you for being here.
Mayor Horry, members of the council, my name is Bill Dixon. I'm a resident of Ward 7. I come before you tonight to urge the council to use funds in its 2027 budget for a study of how its economic development programs affect the wages of local workers. The study should encompass urban renewal areas, enterprise zones, business recruitment, and any other programs that the staff and council identify as central to economic development. Funding for the study could come from the money set aside in the proposed 2027 budget for citywide memberships, services, and subscriptions. A resolution supporting such a study was approved by the Budget Committee in May. As noted at that time, the city has been actively engaged in economic development efforts since 1975, when the first urban renewal area was approved. The 2027 city budget book says city services support job creation and development, and notes that city infrastructure work is helping to bring thousands of new jobs to the Mill Creek Corporate Center. The 2027 budget for the Urban Renewal Agency notes that one of the purposes of urban renewal is to create jobs. However, neither of those books contains any information about how many jobs have been added by economic development programs and what wages they're offering. Nor does there appear to be any such information in any other city records. Data from other sources raise questions about how much URAs and economic development programs in general are helping our community members. More Salem residents live in poverty than the national and state averages. More Salem residents are unemployed than the national rate. Median household income and per capita personal income are lower in Salem than nationally. More Salem residents have trouble paying their housing costs than almost anywhere in the country. The city has shown that urban renewal programs can raise property values, while economic development subsidies, such as tax breaks, can help businesses. But programs such as these should produce improvements for more than just the owners of property and business. I urge the study of wage impacts as a step toward ensuring that economic development efforts improve the worker economy as well. Thank you for considering my request.
Thank you for your testimony. We also have David Levy is here. Looks like the button's already pushed. Green light's on, so go right ahead when you're ready. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor Hoy, members of City Council, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Levy, and I'm a member of the Library Advisory Board, and I'm also a former chair of the Yes for Salem campaign. I just wanted to take this opportunity. I wasn't planning to testify tonight, but I did want to take this opportunity to thank the mayor and members of City Council for your leadership, as well as the staff for your leadership last year in helping to pass the Salem optional levy. Obviously, we've seen the benefits in the last year of expanded programs at the library, Center 50 Plus, and Park Recreation, and the activities that are going on. So I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. We have challenges ahead, but I appreciate the leadership that you and staff provided over the last year. So thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. All right, does anyone have questions of staff? Councilor Nishioka.
Yes, I actually would like to ask Mr. Dixon a question, if he would mind coming back to the podium.
Mr. Dixon, please come forward.
Hi, Mr. Dixon. Thank you very much for coming and bringing your testimony.
Certainly.
I'm trying to understand a little what you're asking for is more data-driven, but it also seems like you want to have some economic strategy within the urban renewal. I'm wondering, I'm just basically trying to understand your testimony and what it is that you are looking for. If you could make it a short and clear.
I will do my best, and I appreciate the question. I believe it's important to understand how economic development programs are affecting workers as well as business owners and property owners. I see that as a possible starting point for perhaps guidelines that these programs would need to include the impact on wages and possibly working conditions, but certainly wages for workers in those areas.
Thank you. Now, if possible, I would like to ask staff.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon.
Thank you.
Yeah, please come forward. Councilor Nishioka, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Callie. This question may end up being more directed to Kristen Rutherford, but the question that I'm trying to understand is the cost of gathering this information. Is that something that could URA funds be used? And if there's some place that it's clear that we could do it now to benefit the information happening for that area of development?
Yes, I would like to call Kristen Rutherford up to answer your questions. Thank you.
Good evening again. Urban renewal funds could be used for studies that are directly related to the urban renewal areas. If we're looking at a citywide study, we could not use the urban renewal funds to look more broadly at citywide wages, recruitment, that sort of thing. But if we wanted to look, let's say, at Mill Creek and what the result of investment has been there in terms of job creation, tax abatements, and wages for those jobs, then we could use the Mill Creek funds for that study.
Is this something that SEDCOR could look at?
A SEDCOR could, but SEDCOR would have to have the funding to do that. That's not in the scope of our contract.
Councilor Matthews.
So kind of in the same vein of that, do we have a projected cost on what something like this would cost for this sort of report?
I don't know. We would, to get this kind of data, we would likely have to contract with somebody like Echo Northwest that has access to this type of data. This isn't something that we track or that SEDCOR tracks. We don't have a mechanism, for businesses that are in the city to provide us with wage data. So it would be somebody, a study that would have to work at the state and try to kind of extrapolate locally what they can access through statewide information.
And so maybe you may not know the answer to this, and maybe it's actually a question for Mr. Dixon, but so it's kind of the conceptual idea to go back. I'm just trying to figure out what data we could get or how we would get it. And so is the conceptual idea that you would go back to businesses and employers that have moved in, that utilize URA funds, and then see what kind of labor, what kind of wages they were paying currently? Is that sort of the premise? I'm just trying to figure out what data, how we would even gather.
Yeah, and so that'll be a challenge because they're under no obligation to provide us with that. And for many businesses, that's proprietary. It's not information that they do want to share with others. So it would have to be, it would be a voluntary response. This is why I'm saying if, we had an Echo Northwest that could access data sets that we don't have access to, they might be able to pull up something that's really general. But then we also have to look at, if we're talking urban renewal areas, a lot of our urban renewal investment is not what I would call economic development. We do a lot of housing work and infrastructure work. And, a smaller subset of that is what I would call economic development investment and grants or support for industry.
Gotcha.
Anyone else? Questions? Thank you very much. All right, if there's nothing further, the motion?
Yes, before let me make the motion and then I'll have my comments. I move to direct staff to return to City Council on June 22nd, 2026 with a resolution to adopt the Budget Committee approved fiscal year 2027 City of Salem budget with amendments.
Second.
Motion, bless you. Motion and a second by Teigen. Counselor to the motion.
Thank you. I know the staff are behind me, but I simply want to say that I know the staff and leadership team worked very hard getting this budget together for the Budget Committee. And I also wish to thank Councillor Teigen for his leadership chairing that committee. I feel that with the levy having passed, we were able to make things look good. Without that, we wouldn't be here. I know that the future years are going to be challenging as well. I hope that we can continue to find ways to fund the REACH team and the increased homeless service team because those efforts are proving to be helpful and effective. I just know that it's going to be tough next year and the year beyond. So again, to the staff and the leadership team, thank you for all of the great work that you did.
Great. Anyone else? All right, then. Will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Brown.
Aye.
Councillor Vang.
Aye.
Councillor Nordyke, absent. Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Teigen.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Gwynn.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. Motion passes. We are moving on to item 5A, the proposed fiscal year 2027 fee schedule. Come on down.
Hello, everybody. This is the last budget-related item tonight. This is so exciting. Okay, so I have the pleasure on presenting of the proposed FY 2027 fee schedule. Okay, so a little bit about the fee schedule. The fee schedule is an annual process that coincides with the budget adoption. The budget office works with our fabulous partner departments to organize, consolidate, and calculate their proposed fees for the next year. These fees are calculated as part of the revenue in the proposed budget and are provided to you guys for review and adoption as one document. These revenues are used to offset the expense of services provided by the city. The proposed fee schedule was first on the City Council's May 26th agenda as a future item. So adjustment to fees generally happen in relation to the following increases above you. However, some have remained flat are being removed or decreasing through the fee schedule adoption process. For those fees that are increasing, the slide shows those rates and examples of which sorts of fees are impacted by those rate changes. So for example, the majority of fees related to, for example, planning and community services are going up by that 2.9% rate. SDCs and some development fees are going up by the engineering news record rate of 1.02, and then some expenses in the EMS fund are going up by, or not expenses, sorry, fees are going up by 6.24%. So there's usually a question about the city operations fee every year. So the picture above you or in front of you shows what the current fiscal year amount is, as well as the proposed amount for FY27 beginning in January. The city operations fee is proposed to increase in January, as is typical practice. The city operations fee is proposed to increase by that 2.90% to align with this annual practice. This is going to be a 47-cent a month increase to residential accounts. The city operations fee revenues go into the general fund and are used to offset expenses within that fund, including police, fire, internal services, code enforcement, planning, etc. This proposed increase is included as part of the revenue assumptions in the recommended City of Salem general fund budget for FY27. Community services fees. So I'm really excited about this. So the Finance Committee worked long and hard this past fall to really do the work to review an independent study that was commissioned for community service fees. So parks, library, recreation. That came back several times to the Finance Committee for discussion. And then this eventually fed into a mid-year adjustment in the fall. This methodology that was approved by the Finance Committee is continuing into FY 2027. So I just wanted to highlight, because there was a lot of work that those on the Finance Committee had to do for that. So another thing is, last year at budget adoption, there was a motion made about an amendment to the resolution to outline part-time and full-time downtown employees making less than $25 an hour, excluding tips, would pay a discounted rate at the Chemeketa and Merriam Parkades. These fees with their same rates and requirements are continuing also into the proposed FY27 fee schedule. There are some new fees. I had mentioned some are going away and some are being added, so some new fees. High level, fire and EMS fees are now going to be delineated by service area. Community services, parks and recreation used to have by individual shelter or picnic site a listing out. Now there's a general, just all-inclusive shelter and picnic rental site. But they have separated it by the number of people at the event for those sites. There is a fee for color photocopying at the library, a new one. And then community planning and development has a couple of new ones, including a refundable deposit for dining platform removals, traffic signal shutdowns, and then temporary sign bundles, which includes a banner, a pennant, and a balloon display. So the recommendation this evening is to adopt resolution number 2026-18, setting fees and charges for the City of Salem for FY27. And I am prepared to hopefully answer questions.
Councillor Teigen, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much for the presentation. I just wanted to ask a question about the change in fee for ambulance transportation. When you say by service area, can you delineate for us, like what are the different service areas? Is that it's not different parts
for EMS?
Yes.
They are. Oh, I'm going to have the chief come up. They are in the fee schedule. I will flip to that page for him.
It's mostly for the edification of people keeping score at home.
Yep.
Good evening, Dave Greer with Fire Chief. Thank you for the question. The service area that is designated is the capital region. The 2 ambulance service areas that are responsible for Salem Fire Department, as well as Kaiser and Marion County. Reason being that this is not an unusual fee schedule that happens throughout the country. The members of this community certainly pay for a wide variety of resources. For example, we might have a traffic accident with a vehicle extrication, and so the community members are paying for that ladder truck to come and cut somebody out of a car, and then the patient is transported. If they're a community member, they're helping pay for that totality of service. If they do not live in this community, they certainly aren't. So the 2 departments that we do automatic aid as well as significant mutual aid with, both Kaiser and Marion County, we have all decided to be on the same fee schedule, and we will provide for the same local rates for those 3 agencies, and then anybody outside of those agencies will pay a higher rate.
Okay, so just making sure that the delineation isn't between different regions of Salem. It's really whether you live in this region or you come from another place.
That's correct. Every single community member within Salem, whether they're in West Salem and Polk County or in Marion County, they will be paying a in-community rate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Matthews.
So how does that work, just in the fact that, like, Salem may pay more for our tax, or in our tax base for fire or for EMS, as opposed to Kaiser, as opposed to Marion County? So how does that rectify when we're ultimately all charging the same fee schedule, but we're ultimately paying more for the service?
Well, we're all doing either automatic aid, so we're sharing resources constantly between those 3 entities. So we do not have agreements outside of those 3 entities, and that's why we kept it to those 3. And when we look at mutual aid transports that happen, it is overwhelmingly between those 3 entities.
Go ahead.
So is the fee that's set, is that more in line with what our cost is, or is that more in line with what Marion County or Kaiser's cost is?
We are all on the exact same fee schedule.
I know we're on the same fee schedule for what it costs us to perform the same service versus what.
Yeah, we lead that. We lead the fee schedule. So
okay.
They've adopted ours. I will tell you there is some complexity on, and the reason this also is important between the jurisdictions. Within Salem, for example, we have city boundary. It's a city actual ground that we respond to and provide fire rescue services. However, Marion County, for example, has the ambulance service area, and so we have an overlapping jurisdiction. So we could have a Marion County ambulance come to the City of Salem with a City of Salem citizen, and so we wanted to make sure that they weren't disadvantaged through that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Councillor Nishioka.
Thank you. Hi, Chief Gerbeau. Thank you for being here. My question is sort of related in the sense that I know I've received some emails from constituents, residents here, that have complained about cost of ambulance transport. And I believe that the ambulance transport fees are based on what you are allowed to charge by insurances. Is that correct, or can you help? Or is this what you're talking about all based on the same fee schedule?
Yeah, ambulance fees are based on the lowest ambulance fee that we could charge to maintain a service and a sustainable service. So about 75% of our ambulance transport fees fall under capitated rates through either Medicare or Medicaid. And so no matter what our fee that we charge, our rates are going to be capped. Our insurance rates generally fulfill those, but it just depends on the insurance company. We do send out a balanced bill if that's the case, not in Medicare or Medicaid, but some of our other, if they're uninsured or underinsured. But we do also have a hardship program that if somebody cannot afford that, they can apply, and then we can waive those fees.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Quinn.
So I have a question. It just wasn't for the chief. So I said it wasn't for the chief. So this question has been asked and asked, but I'm going to ask it again. We have talked on the operations fee at what point do we know when we're going to be able to charge a fee commensurate with the service so that it's equitable?
I'm going to play Bob Barker and say, Josh Eggleston, come on down. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Good evening, Josh Eggleston, Chief Financial Officer. Really good question. I'm familiar with the question. I had a meeting actually earlier today about this subject. We're planning to come back in September at the work session. As you might remember, prior to this fiscal year, the reason we couldn't move forward is because of the utility billing system. That's no longer the case. We have a new utility billing system in place. The challenge right now is just working through the various data sets and making sure we have some options moving forward. So staff are planning to come back in September with some options for how to move forward.
Councilor Nishioka.
Yes, thank you. I don't know who would like to answer this. I have a question regarding the historic fees. There was some increases that seemed to be a little bit outside of the CPI. I guess I'm just wondering if this is cost, if some of the fees are higher, they're higher than the CPI, and I'm just wondering if those went up because of cost of recovery.
In planning, in the planning division,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Because I took some notes and then went in and asked. If you can't answer it now, I'm just trying to understand, it was higher than the regular sort of CPI increases.
I know that there were new fees for archaeological pre-application conference. I don't recall anything specifically about historic.
Okay, it may be simply that. So
okay,
thank you.
If you find it, let me know.
I can talk to Kimberly, I think.
Okay, let me know.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Councillor, to the motion.
And so the hearing's closed, or let's see, this isn't a hearing. This is just going right to the motion. I don't think I did.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I move to adopt resolution number 2026-18, setting fees and charges for the City of Salem as set forth in Exhibit A to resolution number 2026-18.
Second.
Motion and a second by Gwynn. Councillor, to the motion.
I asked my questions. I don't have any further discussion on it. I don't know if anyone else does.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Vang.
Aye.
Councillor Nordyke absent. Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Tigan.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Gwynn.
Aye.
Councillor Brown.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. Motion passes, and now we're moving on to item 5B. Councillor Matthews, to your...
Before Councillor Matthews starts, did you want me to make my motion first? I thought that's what you wanted.
No, Councillor Matthews pulled the item, so he'll start.
Perfect. So you get to make the motion. Yeah.
All right. I move to approve legislative priorities and policy statements to guide the City of Salem's advocacy work through the 2027 legislative session.
Second.
Motion and a second by Gwynn. Councillor, to your motion.
Do I make a substitute motion now, Dan? Is that the process? Okay, then I have a substitute motion to this motion, which is I move to approve legislative priorities and policy statements to guide the City of Salem's advocacy work through the 2027 legislative session with the following minor amendment to immigration enforcement language. Under subsection B, change the word "the" to "any," so the section reads, "Protect our immigrant and other vulnerable communities from any unlawful and unnecessary actions being taken by federal agents in the name of immigration enforcement."
Second.
Motion and a second by Gwen.
All right.
Counselor, anything further?
Well, it's a minor adjustment in the language, and it's really just a premise of the way it reads right now indicates that we know of illegal activity and that we have confirmed it, and that our police are doing something in relation to that. But it's my understanding right now we have reports of illegal activity, but they're currently being investigated, and we don't actually have anything confirmed. And so with that, I'm pretty cautious with our wording here being ahead of our judicial system and the police department as a whole. And so that's where the "any" for me says I think we can all agree here that if there is any illegal activity, we think it should be taken care of. But I think the way we currently have it phrased is indicating that it's a definitive, and I don't think we have definitive evidence from the police right now to say that.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Varney?
I hate to ask this, but could you explain that again a little bit? I was tracking, kind of.
Yeah, so the way it's written right now is, let's see, protect our immigrant and other vulnerable communities from the unlawful and unnecessary actions being taken by federal agents in the name of immigration enforcement. So because it says "the," it implies that we know there is illegal activity happening right now. We have it confirmed. And at this time, at least from our judicial branch of the police, we don't, is my understanding, have that official confirmation. And so I think to say "the" implies that we have that confirmation and we should be prosecuting and we should be leveraging some sort of charges. We at this moment are not. And so I think to say "the" indicates that we should be doing something that frankly we're not. And so "any" says that if we are able to determine that illegal actions were taken, then we would absolutely do that.
Thank you for that clarification. Thanks. Okay.
Councillor Tigan.
I'll support your amendment. I think it offers, more precise language. I do think that there's a pretty strong record of courts finding that ICE has acted illegally and warrantless detentions and many other ways across the country. Whether those have happened or been fully adjudicated within Salem may be a separate question, but I feel like I can still support the statement, knowing that it does actually include the fact that ICE has been found by courts to have conducted illegal activities in their immigration enforcement. So I'll support your more precise language.
Anyone else? Seeing none, will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Nordyke, absent. Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Tigan.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Gwen.
Aye.
Councillor Brown.
Aye.
Councillor Vang.
Aye.
Mayor Julie Hoy.
Aye. Substitute motion passes. Moving on to item 6, information reports. I'll just read through these titles, and if you have anything, please stop me. Item 6A, Hearings Officer Decision, a variance application to modify Condition 2B of the subdivision tentative plan approval for the Mill Creek Corporate Centered subdivision. Item 6B, Hearings Officer Decision, development of 2 new buildings for an assisted living facility and memory care facility in a vacant lot. Item 6C, the Hearings Officer Decision, a conditional use permit for a short-term rental within an existing family dwelling, approved, single-family dwelling. And item 6D, status report on Mayor and City Councilor motions from January 2025 through May 2026. Councilor Nishioka.
Thank you. I just want to say I appreciate staff getting those for us. It was kind of fun to look through them and see the reports that came with them. So I just thank the staff for doing that.
Awesome. Anything else? All right, then. We have no ordinances, no first readings, no second readings. We are on to public comment. We have 2 people signed up to testify. I'll call both of your names. One at a time, please come forward and approach that microphone. Hit the button so that the green light comes on. Please state your name and your ward or your address for the record. Angelina McNabb.
Good evening. My name is Angelina McNabb. Actually, Bacon is my maiden name. I've been in this city for 31 years. And it's funny for you to bring up ICE like that. You know, if you spell police, it is Police. Okay? And just recently, like 2 weeks ago or so, I came to use the restroom here at the library after I was excluded for throwing a pornographic book in the toilet. So the day that I used the toilet here, after being excluded for putting the pornographic book in the toilet, I got across the street to have Salem PD show up, grab me by my arms, and kidnap me, took me to the jail, where I sat in a cell for more than 5 hours. For what? For needing to use the ladies' room in a public library. But I was excluded from it because Rachel was mad at me because she spent months leaving that book on the library shelf. Months. And when I found out it was still on there, I was led by the Lord, the Holy Spirit, to put it in the... I could have taken it out of the library and put it in the river like I thought, but he said no. Why? Because this needs to be dealt with, because you guys are using the City of Salem as an entity that I can injure. I have court on June 25th this month for that incident, for using the toilet at the public library. That is what I was arrested, kidnapped, and locked up in that jail for more than 5 hours for that purpose. I was also yanked out of a tent by the police and the city parks, all standing there watching while they yanked a woman out of a tent. So you talking about ICE, Paul Tigan, you know damn well what I'm talking about. And I will finish with this right here. 1 Samuel 17, verses 45 through 47. Then said David to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword, a spear, and a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the ranks of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will smite you and cut off your head, and I will give the corpses of the army of the Philistines this day to the birds of the air and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all the assembly shall know that the Lord saves, not with sword and spear like you guys fight with, but for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. That means the children of God who will run this nation the way it was founded to be run, not your Fourth Reich that you have been building with people globally. You know what I'm talking about. God knows every single one of you personally. Jesus wants you saved, so you better get right with God. Thank you.
Sherry Shaw. Looks like the microphone's still on. Please announce your name, your ward, or your address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors, and city staff. My name is Sherry Shaw, and I own Torque Automotive Industries here in Salem in Ward 2. I'm here tonight because I'm concerned about the city's sign permitting process and the lack of communication with the city staff and what appears to be inconsistent enforcement of the city's own sign code. On May 22nd, 2026, I sent an email directly to the city manager regarding sign permits for our business located at 2315 Pringle Road Southeast. Before submitting permit applications, I wanted clarification on several questions regarding the process and fees. The signs we are attempting to install are valued at about $400 each. However, the permit fees for a single sign is $534. I asked for an explanation of the permitting sign fees and the sign inspection fee and an automated surcharge fee, and why those fees exceeded the value of the sign itself. I also asked whether the second identical sign on the same building would require an entirely different separate set of fees and inspections, or whether the existing sign permits already associated with one of our spaces impacted the need for an additional permit or not. As of today, I've received no response, no emails, no phone calls, no referrals from other departments, nothing. The city cannot expect businesses to comply with regulations when businesses can't get answers to basic questions about those regulations. The result is we are left in limbo. We are trying to follow the rules, trying to go through the proper channels, and trying to obtain permits before installing our signs. Yet we cannot get answers to the questions necessary to move forward. Unfortunately, this is not the first time our business has experienced difficulties involving the sign code. From September 2024 through June of 2025, our business was repeatedly cited and challenged over signage-related issues. We were told a Halloween skeleton needed to be moved. Then we were told the skeleton required a sign permit because it was too near of a sandwich board. Then that position proved unsupported, so attention shifted to a window sticker that staff believed to be a sign, even though it was actually located inside the building. Later, we were told our previously permitted awning required a new permit, and we were ultimately had to pursue an administrative hearing to establish that maintaining of an existing sign permitted object did not need more permits. In each case, we spent significant time and resources responding to enforcement action that ultimately could not be supported. Now, after all that, we are attempting to do everything correctly from the beginning, and we cannot get a response to our questions. Today, I walked around City Hall construction site at 555 Court Street. The property is surrounded by fencing displaying dozens of signs, notices, banners, and other displays. I counted 71 signs surrounding a one-city block, including signs attached directly to fencing, temporary banners, and sandwich board style.
I'm sorry, your time has expired. All right, does anybody have anything further? Seeing nothing, we are adjourned.